Okay, hi guys, this is Julie Spencer, Administrator for the Gratiot Conservation District. I am going to be making some centerpieces that involve three types of soil, and I don't think it really matters exactly what type of soil that you buy or get, just that there are three different types, and I will be pulling those out and looking at them a little bit closer, but right now I just wanted to show you what I got. Got a couple of flowers just from Meyer. For those of you who are, if you're not in the Midwest in the United States, that's like a super Walmart, but nicer. Just some old mason jars, because we're going to be putting soil in them. And we're going to replant the flowers into the mason jars along with different layers of soil so that we can see an example of what a soil horizon would look like. So we will get going with that. Okay, so I have emptied my three soils into 3 ice cream tubs, and you can see the difference in the coloring. The African violet, orchid, and what is that? Moisture control. Like I said a minute ago, it doesn't really matter what types of soil, just so long as there's 3 different types of soil. So there we go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually pull these plants apart. And I don't want to expose the roots for too long, so I'm going to be kind of careful about this. But really, this isn't to keep the plants alive long term. It's just to make centerpieces. So hopefully the roses will live, but that's not kind of the focus right now. It's to make a pretty centerpiece for the banquet tomorrow night. So we're going to kind of separate all these apart and see if we can get these into something that we can put in each of the jars. So I'm making a total mess. My husband's just going to have to forgive me for making a mess in our dining room, but it is very cold outside. I think it's about 15 degrees outside, so I'm not going to attempt this outside. So we're just going to make a mess in our dining room, and then I will clean it up afterwards. Isn't that nice of me? The roots are very intertwined, so we're probably going to kill some roses as we do this, as I pull them apart. Like I said, this is primarily just to make some centerpieces. So there's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and a little one, so it's 5. So that'll make about 5 jars. I'm not going to put them into the jars yet because we're going to do some soil layers before we do that, but that's kind of what we're going to do with that. So I will separate the other plant and we'll get started putting some soil in the jars. Okay, so what I'm doing is making up these jars with some soil in the bottom of it. I'm actually using up the soil that was right in the flower pots so that we're not wasting that. And I'm just going to kind of make a layer in the bottom of each jar with those soils. And it's getting everywhere in my dining room, but I'll clean it up. Can't make something beautiful without making a mess in the process sometimes. So, alright, so there's the rest of the soil from the plants. And I'm going to tap those down in there so that it's a nice firm layer at the bottom, so that we can fit more soil in there, because there's a lot of air in there. So we're going to get the air out, press it right down hard. And I will do that for each of the jars, and I'll press pause for a minute so you don't have to watch me do each one of these. Could be quite boring. Okay, so I've tamped all the soils down inside the jar, just the first layer. And then I'm going to choose a color of soil that's very different than the first color. So this one's a really dark, so we're going to choose something a little bit lighter. This is a little bit lighter. Hopefully it's not too similar, because I do want it to look like soil horizon layers. So we're just going to, oh, it's nice and fluffy, this one is. So we're going to put a layer of that. Hopefully, I guess you can sort of see the difference. It's not too drastic of a difference unless you look really closely. I don't know if you can see that in the light. There's a layer of of lighter color soil here and the darker soil here. So we'll do that to each one, and then after that we're going to take an even different, and this one's the orchid potting mix is almost like a woody mixture, so that's going to be very different from the previous layers. And then at that point I think that it's going to be time to add the flowers, because I want there to be enough space for all the soil that's going to be right on there. So I'm going to add the soil, or excuse me, add the flowers before I add any more soil, so that it has space, and then we'll fill it in with more soil. So press pause for a few minutes. Okay, so I went ahead and put, now we have 3 layers of soil in each of these jars, and we're going to add in our flowers. I've done one just to practice before I did it on a live video. So I took a flower and put it in here, kind of hold it in place, and then take the soil, and this is the 3rd potting soil that I had, so the African violet potting soils. Technically we're using 4 different soils, the one that came with the flowers, and then the 3 that I bought at Home Depot. We're just going to kind of fill in around, tamp it down there, fill in around our flower, and make a beautiful centerpiece. So needs a little bit more at the top there. Let me fill it nice and pretty. And there we go. Oh, I've got 2 of them. Get one done. Get some more jars here. More flowers. Put it in there. Okay. I'll do the rest of these and show you what they look like when they're all done. Okay, so here's the final results. I'm tempted to buy some pretty ribbon or something and clean the jars up and make them pretty, but it's really about the soils. It's about the layers of the soils. It's not about the decoration of it, although they're going to make beautiful centerpieces. What I'm really trying to focus on for the Conservation District, the Gratiot Conservation District, is talking about the soil layers and the way that we are protecting the soils in the things that we do with our no-till farming and cover crops, and utilizing the modern technologies to be able to protect the soils and keep them on the ground. So tomorrow evening we will be doing our annual meeting and banquet, and these will be our centerpieces, and I think they're just beautiful. Okay, it's Julie Spencer, Gratiot Conservation District Administrator, signing off.